Stu. Hello.
Hi.
Brad.
Hello.
Hello. Ryan here. We're BB and the Bullets, and we're here to talk about our second album, which is called Wrong Side of the River, and we're going to run through track by track. So track number one is Midnight Rider. Well, you got recollections of recording that, Stu?
Yes, well, so Midnight Riders, it seems to me is like your good old standard rock blues track. It's really good to drive a car to. You know, if you like listening to music when you're driving, it's a really good driving track. So it does its thing. It drives along nicely. It's got a nice feel, energetic vibe about it. I kind of really like in the background that how the rhythm section, Brad's drums particularly, and the bass complementing it, kind of resembles that motorcycle engine rumbling away, and at times you can hear it revving up, and other times you can hear it revving down, sometimes even missing.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think we noticed it when we started playing it live, that it's kind of a perfect hit to our audience, eh?
Yeah.
It just plays right there. They go, it's not difficult to get.
Yep.
Did we re-record drums on this? Did we do a second pass? Is this one?
No.
No. So
No.
this is the first, yeah.
But what we did do is discuss the drums a lot, and it went through various permutations, and that was really live at the Com.
Yeah, that's right. We were still technically writing and recording at the same time, and I remember being worried about getting being finished enough with the drum part to not worry about. Now weeks later, having recorded it, I've actually got a much better drum part that I'd much rather do, which didn't end up happening on this one. I can't quite remember what. It's coming up. There's a track or two that we recorded drums on. Anyway, yeah, this one was good. It's just straight. It's raw instinct. It's straightforward. It's you can hear the song tells you what it needs, and that's what the drum part is doing. So there it is.
Yeah, but it's not I remember you, Stu, saying Brad just did a ripper drum track on this. He just smashed it out of the park. Yeah. And I think you did, Brad. What we talked about, I remember having a discussion with you and saying there's a kind of Doors thing where it's the drums are half-time, but they're not half-time.
Yeah.
And that's that whole thing there. Particularly in the Tom's bit in the solo, where it switches over to that. But I think once you got onto that, man, I think the drum track on this in particular smashes it out of the park. And I also think that it gives the song its difference and identity.
I reckon there's a really awesome bit. Remember we talked about whether or not to include things like the sticks clicking.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's like, for me, I like the sticks because it's a part of the music, it's part of the song. And one part in particular where the lyric refers to your time's running out, and there's a click 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 click, and it's like, yes, that's the clock ticking, man. And it's really clever.
If you see it live, I count the time in between. It's a thing you do. I mean, it became pattern of habit because you do so many recording sessions where you're going to need to count the time for the microphones. You can hear the click in your ear, but not necessarily. Anyway, you end up most of the time clicks on sticks get cut out, and little things like laughs or communications between you and the studio usually get cut out, but the rawness of it is left in for your gratification, our preservation. But if you see us live, it'll be the same sort of thing. Those bits in between are like, even when there's not a drum beat going, there's time happening.
We made a deliberate and conscious decision to leave those in. I could have easily cleaned them, and that's what you normally do. Clean, but I think it's on the whole record. You'll notice them on nearly every track on the record. There are drum clicks, and I kind of have that kind of Zen idea that it's all part of it, and it all makes it.
I think so,
and it creates the picture, and it creates our personality as the band. And sorry for very, very tidy people that go, well, that's not as tidy as it could be, but it sort of is. So.
It's raw and authentic, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and you know what? We don't need the clicks as timing reminders because we know a thing or two about our tempos, but at the same time, it doesn't hurt to have them in as a guide anyway.
Yeah,
you know, it all helps the overall thing.
The
Make
clicks
it work.
the clicks are a drum fill of sorts.
They are a drum fill of sorts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In fact, there's one on Freak Show
Yeah.
where you start the fill, you hit the snare, and then you do a couple of clicks, and then there's the rest of the fill,
Yeah.
which is awesome. But we can talk about that later. Anyway, Midnight Rider, and I wrote the song. I actually started writing, or had the idea to write the song when I was living back in Melbourne. And look, particularly, I was thinking that I would pitch it to a couple of my mates there who are in the blues community. Charlie Bedford, who I'd produced an album for, BB King album. He did a kind of tribute to BB King before he went to the States, and we did that album together. So I was thinking, this could be a good track for Charlie. Also Lloyd Spiegel. But they have, it just never came to fruition. And yeah, it was hanging around. And I thought, I better finish this song. So there it is, BB and the Bullets, first single.
It came out a cracker, and like a lot of our stuff, it's vaguely familiar. You know, it sounds like a little bit of something you've heard before, so you'll get into it immediately. And obviously, the lyrics are super easy to pick up on and catch. And you know, it's not long before we have an audience singing our song, even if they've only heard it once. It's still easy for them to sing the lyrics. So.
Through that. Okay, track 2, Wild Honey.
You got them bees a buzzing. Your Santa's in there.
This was a late comer to the album, eh?
Yeah.
This was I think we'd pretty much finished everything, or close to.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was spring here in Wanganui, and when I went for a walk down by the river, and I could just smell the honey in the air, and it reminded me of when I was back in Melbourne and Tacoma. A tree fell down, an old tree, and it had this huge bee's nest in it, wild bees and wild honey.
Cool.
And yeah, that whole smell and everything. And I thought, oh yeah, spring, you know, when the iron in your blood turns to lead in your pencil.
Ah, yes. yes. You sure taste good.
Yeah. What do you think, Brad? That was an interesting one for you, eh?
Yeah, so James Brown is something I've had near and dear to my heart for a number of years. Since I was a young chap, I grew up with two sisters who had varied musical tastes, one of which was James Brown. One was a James Brown fan, and I caught the bug. So when we came to do Wild Honey, obviously it has it has James Brown qualities to it, and I was quite certain about what I wanted to do for the drum beat with this one.
If you remember, when we did the recording, we did it and we got it to our satisfaction. And then when I was mixing it, I dropped in another snare. Remember, there was a version,
Yeah,
and
two
I dropped,
versions,
and I dropped in another snare because I felt that it needed it on both and the 2 and the 4.
Yeah.
And it was all right. But you know, Brad patiently explained to me that is not the way that this works. that this particular style and pattern works. And I think you were on the money for that, Brad.
Yeah, the James Brown is, you can study big band, you can study your Duke Ellingtons and your the guy that did Take 5, whose name eludes me right now, but when you come to James Brown, you're actually delving into deep African roots and gospel and all sorts of other, blues and all sorts of other stuff in there. But James's philosophy was every instrument is a drum. So the interlocking rhythms happen in a way where the drum kit isn't necessarily playing the expected rhythm because someone else is doing that, or in this case, hand claps are doing that. Sometimes it's horns or guitar interplay. So when you listen to James Brown, you're listening to a fine gears of a Swiss watch meshing intricately, and as a person like myself who's a drummer, that is just sort of poetry in motion. So when you're doing it, even if you're aping it, you sort of have to know the form. It's a bit like the old English Shakespeare. You have to get the accent right. So that was the thing. It's such a simple thing, but the drum beat's just got to be right.
Yeah, and I think from the bass and guitar point of view, then once that when you had that and you were putting us in that direction, it was our job to swing, eh?
Very much.
It's got to swing. Bum,
And,
bum, bum, bum.
and if it's too fast, it wrecks it. It won't work if it's too fast. So it has to have enough space in it for everything to kind of be a little bit lazy. Or everything's tight and fine, but everything's got to be a little bit relaxed. And another thing that's deceptive about it, because the hi-hat is ticking along, and don't be fooled into thinking that you should be playing a fast drum beat, because it's just a fast hi-hat part, when the other things, where the bass drum and the snare parts come in, like as Brian is saying, not as regularly as a 2 and a 4, but just in the right spot every bar. So it's one of those things. It's when it meshes well, it meshes really well. We've played it a couple of times fast live, only a couple because we learned our lesson so fast. But yeah, it's a great song. It's I've had struggles with it, and usually when it's too fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of the other time it's a sweet little tune, and it sounds simple, but maybe it isn't as simple as all of that. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, the objective is to sound simple.
Yeah.
I mean, and just go, because on the face of it, you go, well, there's not much to this song.
It's the layers. Again, it's how it's only few parts must intermesh, perfectly. So,
But it is fun. The idea when I got onto it, the idea was that we would have a song that was fun and accessible, and while it's blues, it's more rhythm and blues than blues, but it plays into our market and to our audience, I think, in a nice way that perhaps opens it up and opens the band up to.
the earlier you go in James Brown's lexicon, the more it is the 50s crooner. It's like Jackie Wilson type stuff, or it became more funky as he got, later on and started to go in his own direction. And in the 70s, there's a whole other era there. But, that connective tissue, there's loads of it in there. There's definitely, people already know. You hear the tune and you go, if you don't know James Brown, you go, that sounds familiar. And if you know James Brown, you go, that sounds like, in the nicest possible way, that sounds like James Brown.
Yeah.
So
referencing. And the other thing I noticed when I was explaining the changes to you, Stu, and that when we were going through the changes, we went, that's like a Beatles thing.
Yeah.
And that's a cool hookup because, of course, early Beatles getting the records off the wharves, in Liverpool from the American sailors, listening to that stuff and going, okay, so those changes all, that works for me.
yeah. Well, I mean, in terms of American black music and its powerful influence, for me, James Brown, and particularly the drummer Clyde Stubblefield, has got to be one of the most important progenitors of the style. So, and for me as a kid, funky drummer, okay, Google funky drummer if you don't know what it is, and then name me a drummer who can actually play it properly. I can, because I spent 20 years getting it right, and that's how long it took me. I'm sure other people got lessons and got there quicker than I did, but it took me that long to actually figure out what the hell was going on with funky drummer. So there's a little chestnut for you.
Yeah, cool, man. What do you reckon? What's next, Stu? Track number 3. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So track 3 is Freak Show. Well, my personal favourite on the album, to be honest with you. I mean, from a bass perspective, it is incredibly simple. In fact, most of what I do is, but this one's
One note, G.
pretty much all the way through it. And normally I would struggle to enjoy that because, you like to keep a bit of a challenge for yourself. But I think in the way that the whole thing has come together, it's just it's just become a song that in its whole is just, I like it because it's out there. It's a bit different, a bit out there, and obviously a bit crazy. I love it. It's a crowd favourite.
picture a southern jug band with a soapbox one string bass, and you change the note by flexing the stick, and then there's someone literally blowing into a jug, and then so it's like that. So that's my mental image for the. Because you got to have a design brief when you go into these things to write. Well, I like to formulate one. It's like writing backstory for your character in a role that you're never gonna expose in the film or that you're making or whatever. But similar kind of idea. Freak Show is like Primus. As youngster growing up, Primus was a big part of my formative years, and that bigness of the parts being that we're a trio. That was a big inspiration for. So basically, when you're listening to the drum part for Freak Show, you're listening to the Brown album by Primus, which I'm pretty sure that was Brain Mantilla on the drums for that album, not Tim Herb Alexander. But nonetheless, I was going for the big, powerful style that you find on that album, and I wanted that kind of that bigness to it, and I think we achieved it. And now I've told you all the references. I've sort of shown a magician should never reveal his tricks, but it's kind of this thing of as an artist,
putting it all together. I think it's a good thing.
As an artist, you have particularly for me, I'm a filmie. If you haven't already picked up on that, but it's like as a musician, I reference a broad lexicon of influence to bring my skills to bear on whatever I'm applying my art to. And whether I'm building a set or playing a drum part in a song. So, Freak Show, like I said, all the songs tell you what they need, and it's like when you get a song like this that's really like not just telling you what it needs, but like letting off a signal flare. It's an easy and wonderful thing to be a part of because you just know exactly what to do, and it was a very much a case of less is more, and it just took care of itself. And look at the results. So wonderful bit of art. Wonderful bit of collaborative art.
Yeah. No, that came together beautifully. You could class this as a country two-step.
Sure.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and that's where like the jug band kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sort of very It's lovely because it's just man, why would you do any more? It doesn't need the fancy frilly bits. It just needs a good strong beat, and that's what it got. So,
yeah. Well, the guitar bits in that inspired by Greg Koch and ZZ Top, really. I was, they're both people I listen to a lot, and influence my playing. And I was looking at that. So it's actually a hybrid picking part where I pick the bass note with the pick, but the fingers do the other bits. Oh man, I had blisters on my fingers when I was writing it, and because I knew I'd have to nail it, So man, I spent so many hours, and I got I got blisters.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Really hurt.
What about lyrically? I mean, the lyrics in that one are quite interesting as well, and there's often people who pick up on some lyrics but not getting the context. They sort of might read into it the wrong way. But particularly, like I get friendly fire on the road out of town. Mm-hmm. Where'd that come from?
A lot of these things I reference, I try and base them in my real experiences. But then, as a songwriter, I try never to let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Oh yeah,
So I just once I got onto the idea of the Freak Show, I did reference kind of my divorce and marriage breakup and that kind of stuff, and lawyers. That's where the lawyers and everything comes in, and also friendly fire on the way out of town. But it's not literal.
No,
it's not literal. It's just a story, and it's just fun. I tell you though, it was hard to mix. It was a big one to arrange and to mix. That was quite difficult because, and I let it go on. I mean, I could have cut it back to a more like a 3-minute or 3.5 minute song, but I think the band, we all did a good thing. And so I think also on this, for this track in particular, but on this album, I've tried to, let the songs breathe a little bit more. And I'm even more cognizant of that for the next record, where I'm trying to create not just representations of songs, but representation of the band's musicality.
Oh,
yeah. So, and the other bit that I've got a reference for Freak Show is the riff Very Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
And which I knew it had to have something like that with the title Freak Show.
Yeah,
I just went,
absolutely.
I gotta
Like
put
you
it.
might surrender to some dragon in your dreams.
Nice.
Had to put a little bit of Frank in there, which
Nice.
once again is what you're talking about, bringing your, references and your inspiration
That's
to
it.
a track and putting them in there and having a good time.
Well, that's why our stuff sounds like something else, is because we're inspired by so much else. That's
Well, it's
we
just,
mix it in.
is it not good chefing? You got to be the new chef on the block, but you've got to know all the other great chefs, right? And you've got to be able to concoct something that's like, oh, this vichyssoise is something next level. It is the new vichyssoise.
Okay, wrong side of the river.
Oh yeah. Now this was Wrong Side of the River. Was the one where we re-recorded the bass and drums? Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And once again, our river reference for Wanganui. The river is so prevalent in our lives. Every time you take a drive to go down the shops or something, the river's right there. It's a very Wanganui is a very enjoyable city to live in, I think, because of all that.
Lovely.
I used to, as a youngster coming up on the drums, I used to loathe slow songs because they were hard to play. But as I got better at it, I learned to love playing slow songs, and this is one I love playing. And I invented a part that is it's a count of 12 for me, just because of the way the phrasing works and everything. And it's less is more, lots of space, plenty of impact, plenty of emotion. You want big pyrotechnics, you want big contrast, so you have quiet bits so that when the bang happens, it's louder for the emotional impact and all that jazz. So love this song, and the emotional touchstone for it is T for One, I think, off the Presence album by Led Zeppelin. So if you want to do some homework, go and research that one. But I'm a Bonham fiend, and this is all Bonham, baby. So that's Wrong Side of the River for me. Pass the torch. Who wants to say something next?
Oh, it's just, as Brad's already said, I love it too. For one, it's simplicity. Again, I'm playing absolutely stuff all, and but it's not what you're playing; it's how you're playing it. And like Brad said, there's the passion, the intent, and the space is also part of the deal. And
Well,
I think you get I don't know, you make a picture in your mind's eye when you hear the space. It gives you room to think about what you're listening to and what you're hearing.
Well, we'd actually finished recording this, and if you remember, we were driving up north. We were in the car, and you guys weren't happy with the way the rhythm track was sitting, and we were like questioning it, and we're talking about it, and then we just decided to do it again, and it's actually very impressive that these are the essentially the guitars and the vocals from the first take, but you guys came in and re-recorded your parts, which is not something that everybody can do.
No.
It's and nailed it. I was preparing myself for all sorts of extra work and disaster, and maybe I had to re-record everything again with the new rhythm track, but I didn't have to. You absolutely got right in the pocket, and it sounds awesome. And that's very impressive. That's an impressive rhythm section.
So short and sweet. The drum beat I had, I was basically playing. It felt like it was too much or too fast or something. It wasn't really sitting back, and I was just like, I know, because we'd just gone and played it live, and really nailed it. Really found the nub of what we were after. And then then you've got something in the can that is not going to be, and it's always going to bother you. And so I was basically saying, look, I want to redo the drums, and the whole discussion of logistics about typically you start with the drums to a click, and then you record all the other things over the top for reasons, and you don't tend to go back in and do the drums after everything else. But I said, well, I think I can do it, and we did do it. And the best thing about it for me was we didn't have to. There's a whole lot of work Brian didn't have to do. there was a little bit of work I had to do just to re-record the drums, but we did it in a short amount of time, and we really got a much better result. And that's what everyone's interested in is, like least amount of effort, maximum impact. And it was so gratifying, and that's the song you're hearing on the album.
Yeah, and it became the title track. And in terms of guitars, channeling Gary Moore on this one. But, I went hard on it, and I was particularly, I think, reading stuff about Gary Moore working with George Harrison, and George's take on Gary Moore, and that was interesting. And the other part is that dissension down that works across the bass line. That's very George. So I tried to put both things in there. Yeah. But yeah.
I remember you saying to you the other day, I was listening to Gary Moore the other day, and I heard a track and it sounds, oh my God, it's very like Wrong Side of the River.
Good.
It's like, okay.
Good.
So here you go. Led Zepp versus Gary Moore, BB and the Bots.
Yeah, well, we're swimming in that pool, and we're using that language to express these songs and express these things and make a performance that people will come along and go, wow,
And you're right, because people in audiences like that song, if they heard it for the first time, it usually catches their attention. You see their heads swivel around and go, whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. We do it it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Well, that's chefing. That's what it is. We're trying to put new flavours in your mouth.
Yeah, that's
you
exactly
kind of
right.
think you know, and you kind of do.
Yeah.
But it's new. It's all new.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the next we come to Get a Little Real.
Get a Little Real. Yeah, well, this one nearly didn't make it on the record.
Why is that?
Because I think it was probably an early one for me mixing, and I wanted, with this album, I knew I wanted to hit the drums a little harder, make them a bit more aggressive with the sound wise, the engineering wise. So I did it on this song, and it was just too much. And
Oh, that's right. I remember you sending me a rough, and I was like, well, mate. And I'm like, I'm the drummer, so I'm usually like, well, actually, I don't think I've ever told you to turn it up, but I was actually going, I think maybe that's a bit much. And I was like, I think it was a thing also, I was like, I think this is not the drum sound from like when the levee breaks with all that reverb and bigness to it. It's kind of probably more like Poor Tom, where it's a bit more staccato and kind of, so less is, less on the drum kit. The drum kit could stand to dry out, and that is just as a stylistic choice could bring it more into scope. So we just sort of brought it we shifted it slightly laterally, didn't we?
Well, I was thinking that I think actually we had decided to re-record it, probably in the same session that we were going to do Wrong Side of the River. And we went, okay. But in the meantime, I took on board what you said, and I just dialed everything down. And eventually came up with a mix.
Because I think it's important. Works. It's important to point out for you people who care about drum nerdery. I don't typically use any kind of physical dampening on the kit. I have moon gels in my kit, but I don't typically deploy them. So when we're talking about changing the drum noise around, we're actually referring to an engineering decision about what knob you turn up or turn down.
Look, just how hard to push the compression and the reverb and all the attacks and stuff, and all the various wizardry that I can do, but
that thing, the drum kit had a bit more bark than we wanted, so
and dialing it back, and then suddenly kind of there it was,
because it's a lovely understated song. It's like it doesn't need the big epicness. It's a nice, just plotting isn't the right word, but it's just got a nice walking quality to it. And big drums are not the call. And
I think there's a Split Enz Crowded House influence that creeps into there.
I was just going to say there's some very distinct Kiwi vibe that's very Split Enz, I'm sure. Crowded House.
Yep, proud of that.
Yeah,
proudly wear that. Not a problem.
Yeah,
proudly wear that. The other bit that I used as an inspiration is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Yep.
It's a very Mike Campbell kind of guitar motif on it. and so it's like breakdown.
Yeah,
Yeah, it has the guitar, guitar thing, and then the singing, and so I kind of used that map, and I once again proudly wear that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, good. And there's some really cool lyrics in there as well. We don't need to delve into the whys, but I really like how the lyrics all come together, and there is a story in there for those who are interested in having a closer listen.
Yeah, and the idea of a relationship and going, okay, well now I'm going to call you bluff.
There's some really neat, there's some really cool phrases.
You gonna give it a go or not?
Yeah, exactly. Joys of relationships. Oh well, our one and only cover on the album.
Yeah,
Okay, Fleetwood Mac, obviously, or Peter Green, we should say.
Peter Green. Yeah, Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac.
So, what do you think, Brian? What do you think? This is one that we was.
Well, it's kind of come growing from our live set, but I think once again, once playing it live, that the feel became. Well, remember I was singing. I was singing that Led Zeppelin thing,
Immigrant song.
the immigrant song to it live sometimes because of the drum feel and the feel of the band. I went, this is was Jimmy Page, listening to Peter Green. Highly likely.
Oh, yeah,
Yardbirds, and they're all in the swimming
sure.
in the same pool.
Yeah, there's definitely cross-pollination there. But funny, so I grew up with latter Fleetwood Mac, so all the, rumours and that sort of stuff that most people know, but I never had any experience of early Fleetwood Mac. Obviously I knew, is it Seagull? What's it called?
Oh, Albatross. Yeah.
So, kind of knew of it, bleeding albatross! So anyway, I'd never heard Oh Well until Brian brought the song up, and so the suggestion is, this is how it happens in the band, a suggestion is made about a song maybe we should look at playing, and then so obviously not knowing anything of it, I went and looked at it, and I looked at, you can easily call up 10 versions on YouTube and watch them all. And
everyone's done a version.
I listened to the original, obviously, but then you go and check out these covers and you see live performances and studio recordings of covers of the song. And nobody seemed to actually nail the timing on the song. And the first version, even Peter Green's version, I sort of thought you've got a thing where the band knows what they're doing, but as a listener, you don't know what's about to happen. So what I wanted to do was bring a cohesiveness to the time, so that you know what's going to happen, what's happening as it's happening and what's about to happen. And it's a small thing, but that was all I really felt I needed to do to the parts, and then just play it like John Bonham. So that's all I really did, and then people love our version and they go, wow, I've never quite heard a version like that before, and it's like simply a thing of just stringing it together into parts that are actually cohesive when they're happening, and how they bridge together is cohesive as well. That's the only trick. So it's a thunderous tune because it's short and it's got great, but the starts and the stops, the lyrics on their own a cappella, then the music. It's got all these great, again, it's all the hallmarks that we were talking about with Wrong Side of the River: big spaces, big impact, contrast, drama, dynamism. So it's great, and it just does its job, and I mostly get out of the way. I just have to hit the drums in the right bits and let it do its thing. So that's all there is to it.
Locking into that feel was the key. Locking into that feel, I reckon.
Yeah,
that's what's worked for it.
Yeah. I like as Brad says. I love that it's become bigger. It's for us. It's a big song, and I think it could be like almost a signature one for us now. If it's that kind of.
There's
category.
a difference between covering a song and using that, coin the term, making it your own, but like making that a song, an event, rather than, it's not just a cover, it's a big statement. It's like the drums get loud, and there's a bit of raucousness to it, and it's a good thing to have in the set, to have that dynamism, bring that in when you want to put that into the set, and and it's someone else wrote it, but we've certainly put a rocket up its ass.
Yeah,
Also.
as we do, as
Yeah,
we
man.
do with
Yeah.
the stuff that we played. But that's the thing, and the question, particularly if it's going to appear on the record, what can we bring to it? What do we bring to it?
Yeah.
What are we bringing to the table? It's not like, how do we serve the song rather than not the song serving us?
Yeah.
And we did bring something extra to that.
And not going, oh, that's a pretty good version, we'll just do it like that. And it's like, nah, because nobody actually grabbed me as good enough to make me say that. So we had to basically build our own boat, which is kind of real preferable in my opinion. So
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah, it's good. As if Peter Green walked into the studio and went, okay, I've got this new song for you guys.
Hard out.
It's pretty cool. What's next, Jim?
Sometimes you lose yourself.
With the snake in it.
The snake in it.
The rattlesnake.
This is this is another popular crowd pleaser. It's again, it's familiar.
This is not the initial versions that people who saw us earlier in our career heard a version of this, which is not what you're hearing on the album. So there's that as well. It has a story.
It has more.
A story within the story.
It has. Yeah.
So, we used to play it, I guess, like, chaka unga chaka dung chaka unga chaka boom chaka unga chaka. So then it sort of became more countrified or more Western desert, maybe. Yeah.
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 So it's a bit more Chris Isaac than, what it was before.
Oh, look, there's so many references you could go to,
Oh,
because it's also, well, she was just 17.
It's quite universal.
That's the
Could
same.
be Elvis.
Yeah, and Elvis, yes.
Well, I was thinking maybe it started Dwayne Eddy, ended up Chris Isaac or something like that.
I thought
but,
it started a little bit more punk. It was like quite hard out when we first did.
Oh
it.
yeah, there is that. Yeah, yeah. It was quite a.
Yeah.
It could be quite punk depending on the night.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, I like how it's become, and it's got a good feel about it. It's a crowd pleaser. Again, simplicity, easy enough to just sit in the pocket with Brad there. It's got a good vibe. We love it. It's got a great feel. It always puts a smile on my face.
But
Yeah.
it turned a good road song into a better road song.
True.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, I think you're right. I think part of that was that fill that you did at the end, Brad. That going across the beat, and we all go,
yeah.
there's the pocket, you know.
So just to review, it's like chaka 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 chaka
Yeah.
So that's what he's talking about. Going over the beat like that.
Yeah, and so then because that gave me the opportunity to do the same thing with the guitar riff, because it bong bong bong, so I can really swing.
Yeah.
And which is cool.
That is
yeah,
cool.
and then suddenly it's ours.
Totally. Yeah.
And I changed some of the lyrics from the very original version that I did, simply because we've been driving around and I've seen these places.
Yeah.
Desert Road.
The Desert Road. So I
Yeah.
referenced the Desert Road in it, which was never in the original.
We had a long conversation about doing a video for it, where we were filming on the Desert Road, potentially like an Elvis Presley
That's right.
lookalike reunion, broken down in the middle of the Desert Road somewhere.
Yeah.
Never mind.
3 Elvises.
Three, like young Elvis, fat Elvis, leather Elvis. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
something. You never know. We could do it. We just have to find the budget.
We might come back to that one. But otherwise, it's a groovy song, crowd pleaser. It sort of crosses. Everyone likes that one.
Yep.
And another easy one for people to sing.
Sometimes you lose yourself.
Yeah,
and sometimes you lose everything else.
And for those that get deep into the
And I
lyrics,
think-
there's
I
obviously
think
more
what was
behind
it? What was it? I think it's possible that when I first wrote it, I probably read, if you can keep your wife and your hair, you've done well.
You've done well.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
You either lose one or the other usually.
Two out of three ain't bad.
Sometimes you lose yourself. Sometimes you lose everything else.
Okay, the next one on the track is Black Crow. Ooh, another great crowd pleaser.
Yeah, well, hey, I wrote this when I was in Chicago at the Tom Hess, the guitar thing.
Okay.
The seminars, and yeah, because I was playing a lot, and I don't know why that the riff just came to me, and the idea of the Black Crow. But the Black Crow is kind of drawing on the idea of the black dog, you know, the depression thing. Yeah, and so I just drew those ideas together.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Black Crow sitting on the shoulder, man.
Yeah.
Can all identify with that. Yeah. I remember that one is you played the basic concept to me and said, I haven't put a bass to this, you know, or a bass suggestion.
Yeah,
you know.
no, I had nothing.
You had nothing. What do you? And I said, well, let me just fart around with things and see what fits. And the most natural thing that came to me was that reggae vibe.
Yeah.
It sounds to me it's kind of based in a reggae, and so it's like, well, that just felt natural to me.
Yeah.
It just felt the way it should be.
And it's pulled the song in that direction, and it's like Pacifica reggae is so massive in New Zealand.
It is.
It is so huge, and we don't fit in.
We love it, but we don't fit that scene.
Yeah, but it's not a bad thing for us to reference it in this song. I also felt the song was quite Stonesy as well, quite Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
And when they, you know, they have a go at sort of disco
Yeah.
and reggae and country and you know, so it's still us, but it is, yeah, it is. You could hear the song in a barbecue in summer around any New Zealand barbecue, I reckon, and it would fit.
Yep. But also universally, it sort of fits along with other things like that, like very Stonesy, as you say. Jamaica.
Yeah.
So when you get a song like this and you know exactly what it is, but you can't play the form, and what I'm getting at is I came up on dub on your sound system, you know, Gary Clayle, Audio Active, African Head Charge, Sly and Robbie. So you get a song like this, and yes, the guys are talking about reggae, but I'm like, if we play the form properly, then we're a reggae band. So what you have to do is play the fat John Bonham beat that's appropriate for the reggae song, and that's what you're getting here.
Yeah.
Which works because in dub music, particularly some of the guys, the exponents I just mentioned, the fat backbeat style, not the one drop, is actually the form. So how to make a dub song not a dub song, that's the magic trick you've just heard in that track, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, and I was noticing Sasha do it last night.
Yeah.
You know, I'm listening to Sasha's drumming, and I'm going, hang on, he's just going.
Yep.
It's very simple, because everything else is doing all the reggae stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and he's laying it down, and yeah.
So I had more complicated stuff. I had a lot more bass drum notes in the part, and it was really just a thing of actually, you just need two or three. You just need a $2 thing when, you know, don't do a $5 thing when a $2 thing will do, and that's the thing. Same thing. Less is more. The drum beat works because there isn't a whole lot of fluff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that's also, I think, plays into that Rolling Stones kind of vibe, because that's very Charlie too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still like, despite the rhythm section, that it's still essentially a blues song. It's still a blues song.
It fits into our blues. Yep.
Yeah.
It fits into our blues big time. You know.
Nice little
Yeah.
mashup.
I'm very proud of this album in the fact that we've been able to extend our boundaries a little further.
Yes, you're right, and I feel like Brad and I have had more involvement in the
In the engine room on
pulling
this
the
one.
rhythm
Yeah, I
section
agree.
together. I
I
mean,
agree.
obviously you present a very, very good skeleton, and it's nice when the three of us collaborate and and give you an album like Wrong Side of the River.
Yeah, exactly.
Just all we end up doing is taking the demos out of an arbitrary. The drum beats are just a timing thing, and Brian writes really good. Like he writes drums that sound real on the demos, so you hear them and they're not like a oof ish. It's like a proper John Bonham sounding drum kit and stuff. And then he's starting, as we've gone on, we're into our halfway through our third year as a band. Brian's writing the parts like he's thinking of me, so he's writing like he's already got the actor in mind. So that's the thing.
Yes,
the parts
true
are
that.
actually becoming more in the more into the direction of where I would go with that thing because of that familiarity. So there's all there's more and more of that familiarity makes us. We have a shorthand about how we work, and it's always trying to take the demonstrations of the tracks out of the arbitrary and into the extraordinary. And it's often things like I'm very big on space for impact, as you may have gathered, because here we are halfway through and it's all about how much you're not playing. And this is a thing in Japanese film, is this moment of contemplation before the battle or the impact of the next moment, and the to give the impact for the audience. So we're looking for those moments. We're trying to draw out every cool moment, every bit of drama, to make everything just more impactful and better than it. Because Brian writes good songs and the songs tell you what they need, and often it's actually like, take that, take the oxygen away, take the mouse wheel away. Is the rat still alive? So we're just looking to get the the best result, but it's literally by less is more often than it needs a trumpet or it needs a violin or a saxophone.
Or you guys make them real. But that's what happens. You guys actually turn them into something real that has real people, and it's because I'm often, and it's definitely happened on this album. I'm thinking, Brad or Stu's just going to eat up this, and it's going to be great live. It's going to be great playing it down the com. That's what I'm thinking when I'm writing, and that's what I'm writing into. I'm writing into the band, for the band. But then that's my one-dimensional kind of thing. Then you guys bring it to life, and even the audience brings it to life.
I'll say,
Everybody gets to play their parts.
So what do we think of the Buddha song, track number 9? So you should explain the Buddha song.
Yeah, well, it was written from a direct quote of the Buddha, and I just thought it was very apt for these times that fear is never overcome by fear, and but I wanted to blues it, I wanted to darken it, and it's really easy to sound, if you're quoting the Buddha, it's pretty easy to sound trite and
lecturer.
And I think we succeeded in creating a song that isn't like that. That is, that goes, hey, it's how you think about stuff, and really the only answer is love.
Indeed. You originally wanted to had a much more simple title. And obviously,
that's right. We call it Hatred.
Well, you did.
Hatred is never
and I said, well, that's obviously a key part of the chorus, but from an acceptance point of view, I thought trying to get people to understand and like this song, I don't think that would be. We needed to name change.
I think you're right. I think it's a bit like getting love and hate tattooed on your fists.
Look, man, names.
You're going to regret that.
Names have power, and the hatred on the label doesn't match the beans in the tin, man. So,
quite exactly right. Which is not exactly what we're saying at all.
So I took that on board. It was like, you're probably right. I'm going to regret that.
It's another cool song that pulls in elements of lots of different songs that sound, there's a familiarity to it. I particularly like my bass bit, again, like I said before, was in Black Crows being given given the ropes, given the free rein to do a little bit with it, and there's a couple of little riffs, little scales that are in themselves nothing, but I think they add to the section of the song that they're, it builds where it needs to and then butts out where it doesn't need to, and I like that about all of our songs. They have those subtleties that come and go.
I think in the mix of this too, I worked it a little bit harder. There's even some strings in the song, and I was heading more towards once again a kind of Led Zepp reference. Yeah, there's a little bit more to this song that is kind of buried deep in the mix. Yeah, and I remember once again we were driving, Brad, and we were bloody, out past Perongia.
He does that every time he says that. Perongia.
It makes me giggle. But I think we recognised that it was, there's some power to it,
Yeah.
to the track.
It's funny when you're constructing. Okay, so the scenario is you're constructing an album. Namely, we are constructing the album at the time, and we've got the songs mostly for we've got a few tracks already together. Maybe we had 8 or 9, and we knew there's going to be 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. And then these other tracks are floating around, and Brian's got ones in his head that are coming out. He's got ones that are fully formed and already written, and then this thing of what fits the album, what's blues, what does this do for us, is this gonna you've got to basically figure out something that's going to fit in there, but you also at the same time don't necessarily just want to do another blues song, and this is that song where it's a little bit left of field, but it still works in there because it has enough connective tissue. It shows the breadth of our musicality, and it shows that we're not all just do. It's really none of our songs are, that, but it's that whole thing of being able to flex different muscles and just provide different textures in songs, but still have it all sit in with the lexicon. These 11 tracks have all got to fit into a frame and go on the album and work together. So here's an example from the last album, the very last track on that. You get some people who are going, what the hang is that track doing on there? And then there's other people who are like, that's cool because it's a little bit of a departure from all the other tracks. So we still want to, as we're going to do the next album, we'll be thinking in a similar vein. We want to have all the tracks that you would expect on there and some of the ones that maybe you wouldn't. And so we reserve the right. And that's what we're up to. So,
were you referring to was it Big Boot Running?
Yeah. So Big Boot Running. It's like we had.
Yeah.
I was at a French reviewer who was like, I don't know why you put this last track on here, guys, but okay. And it's because if there's anywhere you're going to put a departure, it should be the last track, and it has completely different textures from the other tracks, and that was something we discussed and decided to. That was intentional. It wasn't like the last little. It wasn't like floor cutting. Let's just say.
No,
actually.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Anything else on the Buddha song?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that it's a powerful lyric, and it deserved a powerful band track, and I think we achieved it.
Yeah, we're all proud of it.
Yeah.
So that brings us to track 10, She Knows.
Great.
I think we all love this one, don't we, boys? Yeah, man. So Brad, what's your take on She Knows, mate?
Well, it's obviously people pick up on a Beastie Boys reference in the music and in the video, which was, that was intentional. There's also connected tissue to Good Times, Bad Times by Led Zeppelin, if you want to get into that as well, which I'd love to play with when we do it live, but it's sort of, I don't want to make it sound like Good Times, Bad Times, but that's part of the joke. But She Knows, it's I like that it's a song that's cusping hip hop and garage, and there's probably you can probably find a few other connective tissues in there, but the thing is, it's somehow it fits on the album, somehow it's not blues, but it is, but it isn't, but it's Beastie Boys. So I like to wear a coat of many colours, and it's good. I think it's good, and I like to show off some of our other influences too. And you know, yes, we're a blues band, but
Yeah.
yes, we like Beastie Boys. So.
Yeah, and it's not meant to. It's meant as a homage. Indeed, it's paying tribute to.
Yeah.
So, although it might come across as a bit of a piss take, it's genuinely not.
No, it's a serious song without a doubt. I reckon the chorus, that's probably one of the most Kiwi choruses that I've ever
She
written.
knows. She
Yeah.
knows what she knows.
Yeah, because of just the way the chord structure
Yeah.
is. It's very indie New Zealand.
Yeah,
very
I'll say.
indie pop New
Yep.
Zealand. And I think it was cheeky as hell to
Oh,
put
yeah.
like a hip hoppy kind of beat on it, and to Run DMC, Beasties, but the Beastie Boys are using, or Led Zeppelin samples, or heavy guitars, and to actually come back to the full circle.
And I'm sampling a sped up version of When the Levee Breaks. So I mean, that, that's kind of what I'm playing in a way.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's a fun song, and I don't know that anybody worries too much about genre adhering to the form or the genre.
I think
so
we're
much.
definitely pushing the boundaries on this.
Yeah,
one.
but it's like in maximum entertainment. So who cares?
Absolutely, and it's like totally identifiable. I think almost there's the screaming like you're trying to change your channel, but there's no remote. It's like how far we've come. We've lost. If we can't find a remote, how the hell do you change the channel on the TV?
You mean I have to get up and walk across the room? Yeah. I don't even know where that button is. Yeah.
Modern day rage. The small things.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun filming it too locally around Wanganui. We filmed a really cool video showcasing our wonderful little town that we live in, our city. It's quite cool. There's lots of groovy places to go and film, and
And you can find all our videos on the YouTubes.
Yeah. Where you're watching this probably, or listening to this. No, she knows. I'm so proud that we get to make a band and a blues album and fit in the blues genre and put something like that on. It is, as Cohen said from Music New Zealand, it's cheeky.
it's cheeky.
It's definitely cheeky.
Yeah, and I think our audiences love that. They get it straight away.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I'm still calling it blues. I'm playing lots of blues licks. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the final tracks crawl right in.
Classic blues structure, no problem. Classic blues structure, and I think very much channeling Led Zepp. I think as soon as I got the guitar riff, I knew.
Yeah. So this song started out a lot more, for my part, it was a lot more aggressive, and the lesson learned very quickly after a few live performances is if you start at maximum speed, you've got nowhere to go. And I'm not talking about tempo here, I'm talking about how much gas I was using to play the part. So if I'm coming in all guns blazing, by the time you're 3 minutes in and starting to finish the song, there's no crescendo because you've topped out. So what I had to learn very quickly is that the song has to sound like Led Zeppelin but not be full intensity Led Zeppelin. And then it sort of gets to that point because where it actually builds is not in volume but in the density of the drum fills, particularly live. So it's this funny thing about it wasn't so much about fussing about what the drum part was as how to deliver the drum part. So we'd done it a few times live by the time we came to record it, and it was a little easier to record than it would have been if we'd come in sooner, because of all that working out that I got to do workshopping it live, which I'm grateful for, because you always get a better result the more pre-production you can bring to bear on the actual recording. So yeah,
True that. What about from your point of view, Stu?
It's just another fairly how do I put it? Yeah, fairly sort of basic sort of riff from my perspective. It's a blues song. It does what it does. I struggled with it initially because the riff gave me a vibe like how do I put it? Like that wah 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 wah,
right.
you know, but it's so
I never saw that. I never saw it like that. It's interesting.
So, but then I obviously, you know, you overcome these things, and it's become one of the standards of our set. And people love to sing it because it's so easy and simple to sing, and kind of a fantasy that maybe a lot of us might have. It's like,
I think it's a very normal fantasy. Isn't it?
yeah, open all day, covers
Come
open,
right in.
crawl right in, come keep me warm tonight, babe.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all nice.
Yep.
Yep, no, I like it. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just it follows a very simple blues structure, and I just felt like that was the correct thing to do with it. You know, there's no middle eight or any other kind of section in it. It's just a simple A-B section.
Yep.
And follow, and the lyrics. I remember my mate Kathy saying, "I'm glad you put heart in the third verse. Open up your heart.
Open up your
because
heart.
it could have been someone else."
Yeah, and that again says a bit more about us as a band, yes, I agree.
Yeah. So fun.
Fun. I also like the intro, Brad's intro on that, you know, the opening on the pounding on that snare. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the song has started.
That's the Led Zeppelin. That's the coming back into a Whole Lot of Love after the guitar solo. Or
Yep.
It's got
yeah.
like it's got real shades of Heartbreaker just in terms of the era and the kind of
Pearl Jam in there too,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's all sorts.
So that's the thing, you know. You just that's when you want to elicit a particular feeling in the audience. I'm looking for an emotional cue, and I'm drawing on my lexicon. That's how that works. So you know, Crawl Right In, you know, it told me everything it needed for a drum part, and it was all just Bonham, wall Bonham, and then I just had to learn how much actual Bonham that is. And too much was too much, but it's just right. It's in the Goldilocks zone now, and we're all very happy. Thank you very much.
Yes. Anything else about the album?
Its overall summary.
Yeah.
Look, I'm absolutely stoked with this album. As I said earlier, it's like we've all contributed to it musically, and it feels right. It's the best second album I've ever produced.
Well, I've never been in a band where we've produced 2 albums in 2 years. So and then actually had distribution for both the albums. So,
Yeah. And got them in the charts, baby.
Yeah, man. So
we've we're going to keep working at this. Like we've got a rate of where we're working on stuff all the time, and the next thing. And I sort of joked early on in the band. I said, you know, by the time we make it, we'll be so busy working on the next thing. We'll be like, cool. We're going to have to send them we can't make the award show, but send them our gratitude. We're too busy shooting the next video. Or, it'll be something like the story about Little Britain, that when they'd made it, they were so busy shooting the 3rd season, they missed the award ceremony or something. But it's like we want to keep this rate of work up. We want to keep working at this. We're already thinking about and conceptualizing the next album. And we've got a bunch of dates hooked up, and there's more dates to come for the next few months after that. So we're just going to keep doing this. We're looking at traveling overseas soon, which was something we already talked about, and that's starting to manifest for us. So we're just we like working at this rate because we're seeing everything come out roses. So we're going to keep at it. Yeah.
We totally are grateful for the people who are supporting us, and that's essentially our fans. You know, thank you for people who like us, who listen to us, who come to the shows and buy our albums, and thank you to the myriad of people who assist us in a million other ways. Our support group, all essential, far too many to name right now, but just know that, you know, we don't forget you. You're part of the scene as far as we're concerned. And also thanks to the venues that play live music, us, but not just us, everyone. Without those live venues, places to play and hone your art and hone your skill, none of this would be happening anyway. So get out there and support live music, whatever it is.
Absolutely. And we try and live, by the band motto. Everything seems to be going very well, so don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up. Yeah.
If you haven't already, don't forget to like us and subscribe us. All those clicks that you give us help us get more eyes and help us get more gigs, and then that'll help us conquer the world one country at a time. So thank you for your support and keep it up. We love you.